Season's greetings and happy holidays to all. Rutgers athletics must have been good boys and girls this year. Santa's been delivering in the transfer portal. Let's get to it. Okay, so Rutgers off to a very solid start during this holiday season of getting some really solid transfer players. The two latest are a wide receiver, DT Sheffield out of North Texas, and you kind of have, almost a lockdown corner in Jacobi, Hollywood Henderson from Marshall. And I touched on this I don't know, maybe one or two videos ago, where this start to the transfer portal season, a little unlike Schiano and company approach, where in the past they're kind of slow developing, want to make sure that they have their kind of guys. They want guys that love football, that fit the culture, yada, yada, yada. And they got off to a quick start this time. They're filling holes on the defensive line. They got a corner. They got a wide receiver, running back. It seems as though they were targeting guys early. They probably have guys that are toiling around the clock in the offers, targeting guys, and made a decision to go out and get the guys that they targeted right away. And I kind of liked their approach in that they're staying on top of what they need to stay on top of regarding player movement. And then, on the other hand, there's a sense of urgency to target positions they know they're absolutely going to need. And, especially defensively, losing a lot of guys with all those upperclassmen this past year, you're going to have a lot of defensive holes to fill, especially on a defensive line. You probably need a player, at least one player at every other position, and a depth piece. So good job getting getting guys that you need to fill in holes, and that includes wide receiver. We're losing our most productive wide receiver from the past year, Dymere Miller, out of Monmouth, who was a really good get for us this year. Before the start of the season this year, we said this current year's wide receiver room would be one of the best ones in at least, 10, 11 years. And they turned out to be very productive with Dymere, Ian Strong, KJ Duff. Dremel got a little something, got some targets in there, Ben Black a couple targets. But overall, the talent level of this room had improved over the past several years, where our two big issues were offensive line, and we had no playmakers at the wide receiver position. That changed this past year, and really optimistic going forward. DT Sheffield out of North Texas, 5'11", 170, 175, depending on whose numbers you listen to. This is a guy that isn't just a one-dimensional, okay, go get the ball, high point the ball, make the catch, and run with it. He is, he's ranked a high 3-star in the portal. I've seen grades 89 up to 90. We did beat out Michigan State, Arkansas, Washington, Mississippi State. So we had some good competition for him. His production, let's get to it. They're in the North Texas AAC at 66 catches for 822 yards and 11 touchdowns. 11 touchdowns was best in the AAC, first team AAC. He came from a community college, went to Washington State, kind of likes to run a little more open offense, but he didn't get much playing time, kind of sat out. And I saw some comments by him where he was talking about how he's grown as a person, and maybe he just needed, that time to get his stuff together and be productive. I love a guy with self-awareness. He said, look, I was kind of a hothead. If I wasn't getting plays, wasn't getting targeted, wasn't getting playing time, he handled it the wrong way. And that change of attitude led to a really productive season where, quite frankly, a lot of programs were looking at him and chasing after him. And to Schiano's staff's credit, they got him in and they locked him up, and they're doing very well at that. Now, I'm not a big PFF guy, but it kind of gives you a baseline to kind of work from. I mean, when we looked at PFF's grades for our offensive linemen last year, they gave up 11 or 12 sacks. It was like 101st in the country. Are you kidding me? I'll take that 101st rating every time. Sometimes they credit a plus play or a minus play to the wrong guy. You have no idea what they're looking at. They're like the refs, right? They're telling you it wasn't a catch, and you're looking at it, it was a catch. Nonetheless, their decision is made. PFF grade, pretty good, 74.3. That's 153rd out of over 1,021. So he's kind of like in the top 15%. He's kind of a speedster, 4.40, and that will give us the ability to have a little different dimension to the offense. I don't want to say Malachi Corley-like, but he can do different things, and you can line him up. You can put him in motion, put him on a simple go route. You mix that in with C.J. Campbell, who we just landed, who is really productive out of the backfield. You can line these guys up in different ways. And for the first time in forever in the passing game, we're going to have multiple guys that we can target on any given play. And I don't care what Coach Schiano's philosophy is playing Northeast football. You want to run the ball, not make mistakes, control the clock, blah, 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 blah. We have the ability here with Ethan Kalekamanis as a legitimate quarterback and our wide receiver room and running back that can now get high production in the passing game out of the backfield. We can have a truly, I don't want to say explosive, but really productive, borderline explosive offense if we scheme it right and get these guys into positions, into space. You get a 4-4 guy into space. We watch some tape of C.J. Campbell. You get him in space on a screen pass, and he's through the hole. He's gone. So when you add guys like Ben Black in there, another speedster, boy, you can keep that defense back on their heels all game, never knowing where it's going to come from. And KJ Duff and Ian Strong, you can hit them deep, contested catch, deep sideline pass. I mean, this absolutely is the best wide receiver room we've had forever. And when you think about guys that have come in, Sinead DeGraffenreid and his 22 touchdowns, whatever it was, that Jordan Houston, Michael Thomas III, Vernon Allen III. This room is kind of stacked. The young guys develop and get some playing time, like Ian, KJ Duff. Boy, our upside is really high. And like Mike talked about on the night report, he was saying that with this kind of receiver, this kind of pass-catching running back, you now have the ability to put pressure on teams in the Big Ten that we never beat. They're just, Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, even Iowa. Now, where before we tried to play keep away, not make the mistake, and hope we're there in the end, and they don't break a play and beat us in the end, which they always did. Now maybe we can compete throughout the game and make big plays in the passing game, which just hasn't been in our DNA in forever. This is good. If you guys have Jack Daniel's single barrel, barrel proof store pick. This one available at Buy Right. Spectacular. Rich, round, smooth, good concentration. Hot, doesn't drink like it's proof. Nice maple brown sugar in there. Anyway, we'll have an even more legitimate offense than we had this past season, especially the past 5 or 6 games where Kirk Shiraka stepped it up and made us more productive, especially in the passing game. So, really solid job getting the wide receiver you targeted. This wasn't like it was a few months down the road and everybody in the transfer portal that was any good left, and we got a guy from an FCS program. This is a good get. A lot of eyeballs were on DT, so good job by Rutgers and Schiano staff. You got a corner. Probably going to need more help at corner and safety. Jacobi, Hollywood Henderson. Now, I have no idea why they call him Hollywood Henderson, but I am being an old guy. I immediately thought back to number 56, linebacker for the Dallas Cowboys in the 1970s, Thomas Hollywood Henderson. I wonder if that's where Jacobi got the name from. Hollywood Henderson. He came out of this really small, I want to say, is a college named Langston, maybe Arkansas or somewhere. And Tom Landry just, picked him out of this really small college, and he had all the upside talent in the world, but he had, emotional issues, and he was a little bit unstable, and he could absolutely make plays, but then he would get himself into trouble, both on and off the field. But nonetheless, Hollywood Henderson was a linebacker with huge upside potential. Not sure that Jacobi is named after that Thomas Hollywood Henderson. 5'11", 191. He also, we'll talk about top PFF grade, 72.4, which is really solid. That would put him in the top third of corners. 50 tackles, 10 pass breakups, 2 interceptions. Pretty productive time at Marshall. He has 2 years left. Robert Longerbeam and Rogers gone. I'm not sure if he's a kind of plug-and-play guy. He's your starting corner. He would probably be a heavy rotational guy. We're going to need somebody to step in. Marshall, we know the deal with Marshall. Coach Charles Huff leaves, half the team or most of the team or all of the team went into the portal. So Marshall would be a good opportunity for us to pilfer some guys, because at the Sun Belt level, there are guys that we can afford. They're guys from a good team. I think, what are they, 10-2? I think they were 10-2, 10-3, whatever they might, what their final record was. Good team. Their defense in some areas was really good. Passing game was not one of them. They were middle of the pack in scoring defense. Their pass defense was ranked overall like 76, but they were number 5 in interception percentage, which is really good. And they were number 16 in turnover margin and number 13 in takeaways overall per game. So the defense shined in some areas. In the pass defense, they were not great, although Henderson graded out overall very solid. He had some really good games and some games that were just so-so. But nonetheless, it's an addition, again, that we targeted early, got him on campus and locked him up. So that's a good job, once again, by the staff, targeting a guy who's probably a program fit for us, both from a budget standpoint and what he brings to the table. So good job. And the transfer portal, off to a solid start. We got Princeton this coming weekend in basketball. All I have to say about that is don't let Princeton do what they do. Play good team basketball, move the ball around, hit the open guy, make their three-point shots, hit their free throws, play fundamentally sound. You know, they're 8-4. They're first in the Ivies. They have no big wins on their schedule. But that doesn't throw all that away. That doesn't mean anything because we have this propensity to let teams that we're more talented than, we tend to play down to them and let them hang around much longer than they should. We do have some common opponents. Princeton beat Monmouth 71-67. And they also beat Merrimack 68-57. So there were similar kind of results there. So I think you can expect it's a regional game, a local game, to kind of be close, even though on paper we really should run them out of the gym. I have a feeling that at points throughout this game it would be much closer than we're comfortable with. And the other thing is, will Zach Martini come out of witness protection? He's been really quiet, not sure what the deal is there, have no inside information, but trying to find out. I guess he just hasn't been playing well enough and not productive enough. But will he get some time to make plays against his old mates? Not sure about that. Nonetheless, as I've said, we need to get out of September 9-4. We can't be 8-5 and going into the Big Ten season. Start when the calendar flips. We're going to have to go at least, if we're 8-5, we're absolutely going to have to minimum be 12-6, maybe 13-5. But if we can finish out this month 9-4, get to 21 wins by the end of the Big Ten season end schedule, we'll be in good shape for a tournament bid. Nonetheless, good luck, and with Princeton, everybody, enjoy your weekend. Happy holidays to all. Might have a Kansas State preview coming up this weekend, maybe earlier in the week. Kansas State, explosive on offense, can make plays. I think they have several guys that will not be playing. I'll have to do a little more research on that. Everybody enjoy your weekend. Happy holidays, and we'll see you the next time.